your brand needs to show that you love it. The same thing you expect, like you need to love your brand like you expect other people to love it. But if it doesn't look like you put time into it, why is somebody else gonna put their time and money into it? Mm-hmm. They're not, right? So love on your brand like you would like the other brands. And if it's not your thing, because granted, everyone is not a creative, right? So that's an investment. I think that is an investment all businesses and all entrepreneurs should be willing to take. Let me just go ahead and get this out from the beginning. Mm-hmm. And hell, if you don't have the funding, you might have to listen. Bartering still works.
Facts.
Bartering still works. Find somebody that need what you have and swap it out for some good graphics because it matters. Mm-hmm.
What up, though, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another installment of the Black Fridays podcast. Of course, we have another super dope, dynamic guest in the building, Miss Shawn Rochelle. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. Can't complain. Good. So you are a creative photographer, entrepreneur, podcast host, yes, a lot of different creative talents and skills going on, but wanted to offer you the opportunity to introduce yourself to us and introduce us a little bit into your world.
Oh, okay. So I am Shawn Rochelle. I'm a branding and portrait photographer, and I help entrepreneurs build their brands, tell their stories, and increase online visibility through professional photography, brand development, and content creation.
And I know you got that elevator pitch down because the episode that I listened to in your podcast, you talked about perfecting the elevator pitch. I ain't there yet, but
I'm big on it. But once you get there, like it's gonna roll off your tongue like butter. You're gonna be like, oh my God. So.
And how was that, I guess, open doors for you in the sense of being able to be like that prepared with the elevator pitch?
So before, I didn't have an elevator pitch, right? So someone would say like, what do you do? That whole question like would be like, oh Lord, what do I do? Like, and you know what you do, but when someone asks you like, what do you do? It always made me feel unprepared, right? Mm-hmm. So I ended up taking I was a part of this cohort. It was like a month, like business type thing. And one of the things was like, you gotta find like your elevator pitch. Now I don't heard people say elevator pitch, you know,
a million times, yeah.
Right. You gotta find your elevator pitch. And so when I really broke it down, I'm like, well, who am I? What do I do and who do I serve, right? And that's what I came up with. And so when I add different dynamics to my business, I add a different piece to the pitch. Because at first it was just like professional photography. Then it became in brand development and content creation. You know, your elevator pitch will allow you to add or subtract from it based off of what you do. But having one, like when I go places, because I speak every now and then, but when I go places and when I begin with that, like I said it kind of like soft here, but when I go places and I say it, like people be like, it pulls people in because they want to know like, damn, who is that? What she do? Like what she said she do? You know, it makes people be like, oh. So yes, get you elevator pitch.
Got you. For sure. And can you break down the business for us a little bit more? Tell us about your services, how long you've been doing photography and all those good things.
Oh, my gosh. I have been doing photography for 12 years. It did not always start as branding photography. It actually started as inanimate objects, like landscapes, buildings, products. I love art. So, like, that was great for me. And when I started, I was also like really shy, like worried about people. So I was like, well, buildings ain't people, so I can go ahead and knock that out. But people kept asking me like, hey, you know, how I got into shooting people is I used to work a 9 to 5. And in that 9 to 5, one of my coworkers was like, can you shoot my wedding? And I was like, yes, I said yes, but I went home like, I think I made a bad decision. You know, I'm like, I can't do this one over, you know. And she must have felt it because she would come to work every day and be like, I'm not taking no for an answer. And I'm like, So then once we started, once I took the pictures, we sat down and looked at it. She started crying. And it made me cry. And then I'm like, oh, okay, well, people is where it's at, because it was pulling on the heartstring that I didn't know was there. Like, you don't get that from looking at, buildings and stuff like that. So I've been in business for 12 years. Over the years, like entrepreneurs, I'm telling you, over the years, your niche will probably change based off of where you are, right? So it started like that. It started with portraits. And so now I'm into branding. And how I got into branding photography is because I mainly work with entrepreneurs. I realized I didn't want all those props and stuff, like the babies. I'm like, it's just taking up so much space. So I love working with entrepreneurs. I can relate to entrepreneurs because I am one. So I offer branding shoots. I offer content creation sessions where you can come in and you can do like your reels and stuff like that. I love to help beginning entrepreneurs that are like, I don't really do social media, right? But social media is big now. So I'm like, okay, hey, we can do some informational reels. We can do some photos for so shooting on a white backdrop. I shoot on a white backdrop often, right? The reason why I shoot on a white backdrop is because people need clean images for their marketing materials, right? Yeah, please stop using selfies. I'm sorry. I got to put it out there. Please. If it's a good one, fine. If you are in a rush and you need something, but listen, it's nothing like that professional photo that you can put on your mark. You know what I'm saying? Like on your business card, and I know we're getting away from like physical cards. I love me a good physical card though. Mm-hmm. However, you still need a professional image for your digital business card, right? For your social media profiles, that professional picture is just unmatched. So I don't know. I had to put that out there.
No, I appreciate you saying that, because I am somebody who is a stickler for things like that. Okay. If you're gonna do it. Like don't have no selfies. I had a professor in grad school, when I went to add her on LinkedIn, it looked like that was her profile for like a dating app or something. And I'm like, that's this.
Come on. And listen, and like, it's so funny because LinkedIn is like, I feel like LinkedIn is like the professional, the professional social media. Mm-hmm. So yeah, if you on LinkedIn, you definitely have to have that professional image, right? And I feel like your headshot is, they say first impressions mean like, like your headshot is your visual first impression, to your business. Like people buy into what you look like. So, give them, get them some professional.
Right, do it. If you're going to do it, do it.
Yes, absolutely.
For sure. So I'll pause for a moment to do my favorite part of Black Fridays, which is Freestyle Fridays.
Okay.
So can you rap?
Oh my God. No. I didn't know he was doing no. I'm looking at every camera. I know. It's like, I didn't know he was doing no freestyle. Lord. Oh,
no, you don't have to do no real freestyle. It's just a random assortment of questions. They're all about you. So
okay.
You shouldn't get them wrong, and I just ask that you answer each one and answer honestly.
Oh, come on. Let's go.
Perfect. Cool. So, what is your favorite brand?
Ooh, my favorite brand, Lush. Lush is my favorite brand. Lush is not just soap, it is natural products. I love natural things. It is like bath bombs, natural deodorant, natural soaps, natural lotions, shampoo, just natural. But they put like a funky little spin on it that I love. I love going in there. Their customer service is great. Lush is, I don't know. Lush is one of my favorite brands. Oh, I'm going to tell you, I have another favorite brand that's more commercial. Victoria's Secrets.
Okay.
And the reason why is because I feel like their branding is so unmatched to me. Like, I feel like it is the epitome of like, it's like they're a luxury brand, but they're not, but their marketing is always very clean to me. Mm-hmm. And that's what I like. I like clean brands,
Nice.
So.
Nice. Right. What age do you feel, if you don't mind me asking, can I ask you how old you are?
no, he did. No, I'm just playing out mine. I'm 43.
You're 43?
Yes.
What age do you feel? Because I'm 32. I feel every bit of 32.
Do you?
Yeah, I definitely feel every bit of 32.
I don't feel 43. I feel, which is nuts because last year if you asked me, I'd have been like, I feel like I'm 50. No, but I feel like I'm in my 30s. I don't know where in my 30s, but I don't feel 43. Mm. Like, I don't. I feel like I'm in my 30s. Like, I feel good. Like, I'm not saying you can't feel good in your 40s.
Of course.
But
that's what's up. Best snack of all time?
I have so many. I'm a foodie. Like, best snack of all times. I love me some chips. I don't have to have like no particular. I love me some chips. And you can fold them up. Y'all about to talk about them. You can fold them up and stick them under your pillow in the middle of the night. So if you need like a snack, you just pop them back out. Like.
Now, why you just can't bring the bag with you?
Just saying. Yeah, I know. Okay. That's what I'm saying. But if you get you a nice size bag, you can fold the bag up, tuck it.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Not the actual chip.
No, not the actual chip. No, I ain't got no chip crumbs under the pillow. But yeah, I love me some good chips, y'all.
Okay. All right. Shout out to the chips. What would you say that you wanted to be when you were growing up?
I wanted to be an architect. I wanted to be an architect. I love buildings, and that's probably why I started with buildings first. I love architecture. That's why I started with landscapes when I first got into photography. It's just something dope about architecture, so I wanted to be an architect. And I can draw, so I wanted to be an architect.
It seems like it's all still within that
it's
same
all artsy.
Design, art realm.
Yeah.
Dope. And if you had to be locked in a phone booth for 24 hours with any famous person, celebrity, anybody you admire, who would that be?
Put me in the booth with Jay-Z. I think he's an awesome businessman. Put me in the booth with Jay-Z because just his evolution over time and just watching him grow into like the businessman that he is. I have some questions being an entrepreneur myself,
Right.
But yeah, and I think it would be cool. Like, he'd be like, he'd be chill. Like, I've watched him on a couple interviews. Like, yeah, I wouldn't mind being in the booth with Jay-Z.
Okay, not a bad choice.
No.
Well, shout out to you for successfully passing Freestyle Fridays.
Thank you. Glad I ain't have to bust out no rap skill.
Yeah. You never know. You got to stay ready.
I got to go home and practice my flow. Right?
So I wanted to ask, because I get a chance to interact with different photographers, and it's a very I wouldn't say saturated. It's a saturated industry.
I'll it's saturated.
Like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So given the fact that it's pretty saturated, what would you say sets you apart with Shawn Rochelle photography? Well,
for one, what sets me apart is that I'm very authentic. Like, what you see is what you get. Like, this is how you see me now. This is how I am with my clients. This is how you're going to see me if you run into me out on Michigan Avenue when I'm walking somewhere. I'm going to be like, hey. And that's just how I am. I feel like I make my clients feel comfortable. I've had a lot of first-time clients come to me and be like, I feel like I've been knowing you forever. I think that is an awesome compliment. One thing I noticed, too, is when I got into photography, and I have an in-home studio. So I used to tell my mom, like, I can't get these people up out of here when the shoot over, right? I'm like, I got to go pick my kids up. And they just be talking and talking and talking. And then I realized, like, that's not a bad thing. People not wanting to leave is not a bad thing, right? So I bring authenticity, and I just be myself. And I allow other people to be themselves. Like, my studio is a no judgment zone. You may come there and get a therapy session. I might leave. I might end up getting a therapy session. It just depends. Like, it's an open atmosphere where you can be yourself, and in that atmosphere, things come out, and it's perfectly fine.
So, you say you have a home studio, right? I have
an in-home studio, yeah.
How did you develop that in-home studio? How long did it take you to, like, create that? Like, what did you use for, like, any... I'm thinking about the aspiring photographers.
Oh my gosh! Let me tell you this: if you are an inspiring photographer, don't let anybody tell you that your space is too small, right? Someone was like, well, your ceilings are too small, like too short or whatever, right? If it's in you and you want to start. So when I started, I was just like, look, I started in a home that my mom, she was like, take my house, live in it and do photography out of it. When I tell you I was so against it at first, I'm like, I don't want to work in a home. She like, listen, a lot of people work in their home and they build their clientele up and then they go wherever they need to go, but just start here. And in that way, you don't have to worry about trying to cover any extra costs. Mm-hmm. When I tell you I was so against it, I was so against it. It was literally the empty house and some carpet on the floor. Like, that's how much I didn't even know about it. I rolled out the white paper, had it on top of the carpet. People was coming over, women was coming over with heels, putting holes in my paper. And I was like, this is not it. It wasn't until I quit my job in 2017 and got really, really, really like serious about it. And it was like, this thing gotta work, right? And I decided to make like my entire downstairs is kind of devoted to, like my studio space. And I made it something that I love. So it's my brand colors. Like when you walk into the studio, the main wall that you're gonna see is like the pink. There is a light pink couch when you walk in. My candles that I burn are like hot pink. Like I'm very, like my rugs are black and white. It's very branded, mm-hmm. You know. I burn candles at every shoot. So I made it something that I would love and enjoy, something that I felt would make people comfortable.
That's dope. And how are you protective of your space? Because you're letting different people, you know, come in, virtually strangers come into
right?
Yeah, I don't want to put it like that, but I mean,
that's the real though.
But how are you like protective of your space given that?
I trust that what I put out is what I'm going to get back, right? Mm-hmm. I have not had any bad experiences. The only thing I had was somebody brought a little dog that I didn't know. And I was like, oh, the dog was a part of the shoot, you know. But I haven't had any bad experiences. But I don't live a pragmatic life, right? I don't live a toxic life. I'm very peaceful. And I feel like because that's what I put out, though that's what I attract, right? Mm-hmm. I've had great clients. I have great clients. So I don't worry about it. I'm not going to lie, though. When I first kind of started getting into it, I was carrying, you know.
Yeah.
You know, she was on the hip, you know. It's like, you know, just had to let you know, like, just in case you decide, right. You know, You know, I had to, like, you know, fall over a little bit to the side just so they can see it.
But, you know, crazy, just you know, just let them know, hey, it's on me.
This is what it is. This is what it is. Yes. But I've never had that issue. I don't carry now. It's just that was me not knowing what to expect myself. Mm-hmm. But growing and evolving as an entrepreneur, I've learned that you begin to attract your tribe, right? I feel like my clients are my tribe, so I don't even worry about it now. Mm-hmm. Not saying don't come over there acting crazy. Right. I know new people. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Right. But yeah, but I haven't had any problems.
And do you utilize different spaces? Like, are you strictly in studio photography? Do you like go outdoors? Sometimes you like natural lighting and stuff like that.
I started outdoors before I opened up my home. I started on location. Once I started shooting in studio and really learning my lighting, I really fell in love with shooting in studio. So then it got to the point where it was like, I don't want to shoot on location. Like, it's December. I don't want to be out there with you. You know, like that's how I would feel. But now I'm like, I want to get from in front of the white backdrop. You know, I want to get, because in branding people, they need more than marketing materials, right? So like if a podcaster came to me and said, hey, you know, I need some branding photos, this would be an amazing setup, you know, to do their photo shoot. So I'm open to on location, in studio. I've even traveled out of state to do branding shoots. So yeah, I'm open. You got to be open though.
Of course.
You know, so.
And speaking of the branding piece, because you do provide those type of services from a photography standpoint, what are some lessons that you are either able to help your customers understand or that you've learned just about branding in general in being able to provide like those materials, marketing materials, or just brand photo shoots in general? What are some of the things that you picked up over the years that would be helpful for people trying to develop their brand?
One of the main things I feel about branding, and it's not everything, but it is a big piece. I say in the beginning, please spend your money on a professional logo. You know,
say it one more time, please.
Please spend your money on a professional logo. You know, honestly, seriously, because your logo is like your head. Like I was saying, your headshot is a representation of you. Your logo is a representation of your brand. So, and I know a lot of times when businesses and entrepreneurs are starting off, they may not have the funding, right? Or necessarily to be like, I don't really want to. But think about it as an investment, right? Not something that you're like, oh, I got to spend $250 to $300 for a logo. It is an investment. And if you get a great logo and you find a great graphic artist, it's something that you're only going to have to do once. Because what you don't want to do is build this amazing brand, and then later on you got to change your whole branding, because I feel like your logo is going to get you to certain places, right? There's going to, once you begin to evolve in business, there is going to become a time where that baby logo not going to work no more. You know, when you're talking about getting in different rooms, you need to look professional. You're not looking at that logo that, you know what I'm saying?
The glitter logo, the emoji logo.
Yeah, no. You need a professional, polished logo. So that is the biggest thing I've seen. Also, rolling from the logo into your marketing materials. Marketing materials can make or break your business, because not everybody is a stickler, but there are a lot of people that are. I'm a stickler. I won't even look at a graphic if it isn't up to par for me. I'll scroll right past it and be like, did you see my? No, I did not, because I didn't, you know what I'm saying? It didn't grasp my attention. Mm-hmm. Professional marketing materials are eye catchers, you know, so brand yourself from the beginning. Your marketing materials should be, and again, it doesn't even have to be anything elaborate, because I feel like my branding is, I'm very simple in my branding, but it's very polished, right? So you can be polished in your branding. That is a big thing I'm seeing. Also, when it comes to your aesthetics, like a lot of times if people will see something on their timeline, oh, I like it, and they'll share it. I'm particular even down to that. I'm not sharing it if it's blue. Mm. It's blue. It don't match my branding. Like, that's how
detailed.
Yes, I am. Like, I'm not sharing that. Now, if you like something that much, then duplicate it. But do it with put your own spin on it, but still make it fit your branding, you know. I am a stickler on when you have your marketing materials, even if it's a blog, even in your social media post, go over your social media post, reread them, mm-hmm. you know, read over your blogs. I don't want to see the misspelled grammar. It's just seriously like, mm-hmm. how can you expect someone to take you seriously and you got 50 typos? Who?
It's like a kid wrote this.
Yeah, like you're not even. You need to show, your brand needs to show that you love it. The same thing you expect, like you need to love your brand like you expect other people to love it. But if it doesn't look like you put time into it, why is somebody else gonna put their time and money into it? Mm-hmm. They're not, right? So love on your brand like you would like the other brands. And if it's not your thing, because granted, everyone is not a creative, right? So that's an investment. I think that is an investment all businesses and all entrepreneurs should be willing to take. Let me just go ahead and get this out from the beginning. Mm. And hell, if you don't have the funding, you might have to listen. Bartering still works.
Facts.
Bartering still works. Find somebody that need what you have and swap it out for some good graphics, because it matters.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any advice for people who are looking for a good photographer? What would be some signs of solidifying a good photographer for your branding, or different type of pieces of content you're trying to put together for your business?
In general, I feel like if you are looking for a great photographer, please read their reviews, because I have had So many people come to me and they've like, I need a photographer today because my photographer bailed out. Like, they bailed out today, like on your special day, on your event. Now, granted, there are some things that are out of our control.
Right.
But this is just because they overbooked. Or it's just because they ain't feel like doing it that day. Or because I would rather go to Chicago than to take this shoot. You know what I'm saying? It's not something that was like, I'm ill. My mother is ill. Or, something like that. It's just like, oh, I don't feel like doing it today. No, because people look forward to you providing the service that they put that deposit on, right? You want a photographer with integrity. You want a photographer that is going to do what him or her says they're going to do, Read the reviews. Ask about them. Pay attention to their own marketing and branding. Like, I used to always say, like, how a person, like, people used to market hair, like, before we got into social media. Mm. Oh, I do hair. Your hair not done. Like, okay.
I'm about to touch my hair.
Hey, no, okay, you might do hair, but you won't be doing mine. And, this is when I had hair. But no, seriously, you know what I'm saying? Like, look at people's and see if they're giving in their own brand what you would want to give in yours. So yeah, look for someone that falls in your standards.
Mm-hmm. And because we have an expert in the building, I wanted to ask you, for people who, I love to deem myself as the iPhone photographer. Okay. But people who may be interested in just photography in general, they like taking photos, stuff like that, but they're not necessarily sure what equipment to be using. If they want a camera that's going to help them get some nice high quality photos, or equipment in general, lighting, all that good stuff, do you have like a ideal starter kit for those type of people?
So I would say cameras are trial and error, right? Cameras are trial and error. The type of camera that you like is, you got to find what you like, right? Because I can say all day, go grab you a Canon, but then it's Nikon people. Canon and Nikon is like iPhone and Android, right? Okay. I'm a Canon girl. I tried to go off to Sony and was like, I love the video quality, but it was like switching from PC to a Mac. And I'm like, let me just go on back here to Canon. Mm. But I would say listen, first of all, photography is expensive. It is expensive. So if photography is something that you want to do, I would say you can always look into used equipment. That's something that people don't think about, right? Mm. They think like, oh, I got to go and get this expensive camera. People a lot of times sell their used equipment just because they're ready to level up and get something better. Not because there's anything wrong with it. It's just that they want something, better. But it's great for a beginner. Procam is one of the places that sells used equipment. Hell, Facebook Marketplace. I've sold cameras on Facebook Marketplace, right? Start off with some used equipment just to kind of get your feet wet, to see what you like. Mm-hmm. Then once you realize what you like, then you can go ahead and say, I'm going to go ahead and invest my money in this big boy, right? Mm-hmm. One of the major things, too, is don't spend a lot of time considering the body of the camera, right? Spend a lot of time figuring out what good glass, what good lenses you need, right? Because a lot of times it's the lens that makes a difference, right? So
that's what I've heard. Yeah.
Yeah. So get you like one good prime lens to start off with, and that is going to vary based off what you do. I would say a 50 millimeter, 85 millimeter. Either one of those are good. But again, you got to see what you decide, what your field of photography is. If you are going into studio photography, I would say today you can find you a camera. You can also get you a 2-light system. You have 1 light on each side, and then you also can get you a background stand and a roll of white paper. Once you learn how to use the white paper, then you can go in and start swapping out the colors. But that's really a space where you can work. Mm. A roll of white paper is like 9 feet, I believe. So you need 9 feet of space somewhere, right? Roll it out. and that's what you use. Another hack is, like I said, photography is expensive. So a lot of things that you might want to use as far as props, right? You can take yourself to Home Depot and find some things in there. Like they have floor drops that you would probably pay $100 to $300 for, right? From a camera store or online. You can go to Home Depot, get you a piece of pre-cut linoleum, right? Looks like wood flooring, $20-something. Like 20 something, like you can't beat that. But yeah, if I believe, and if you want to start, you're gonna find a way to do it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's it.
Dope. And definitely would be remiss if we didn't talk about your fellow podcaster. And I got to know more about Shawn Conversations
with Shawn Rochelle. So Shawn Conversations with Shawn Rochelle is, I call it the Entrepreneurs Podcast. Shawn Conversations was started. First of all, let me say this. So God gave me the name like before the pandemic, right? I didn't know what to do with it. So I tried doing like some video stuff on YouTube, and I felt like I was pushing it. Like, this is not flowing. So I said, I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna sit on. I even had someone do an entire graphics for it. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about the Facebook cover, the advertisement. I ain't like it. I was like, what is happening? I felt like I was pushing it. So I let it go. So last year I had cancer. I don't have cancer anymore, you guys. And September the 1st, thank you. September the 1st will be my 1 year cancer free. However, after I got finished with all of my treatments, it was so hard for me to get back into life. It was hard for me to get back into the thing that I have been doing for 12 years, right? I'm like, how do I feel like this? And I know that I had to do something because I'm self-employed. Like I don't have a 9-to-5. Like photography is what I do. So I'm like, I cannot be the only entrepreneur that has suffered a life event and is struggling to get back, like find their footing, find their motivation again. And that's when I was like, that's it. Shawn Conversations, we going full force. And then life meant something different to me after that. It was like, I don't want to sit on the things that God has given me. I don't want to sit on my gifts. I don't want to sit on my talents. And so it was like, that's it. December 15th was my last radiation. January, I was recording podcasts, right? Loved it so much. I love podcasting. Like I told you, I did not know that I was going to love it, but it was bringing me a joy at a time that I was looking to, I needed something. And that's what podcasting was for me. But my podcast is really pretty much to motivate other entrepreneurs, because I feel like the internet, social media makes entrepreneurship look glamorous. Mm-hmm. Like, you're going to start your business today and tomorrow you're going to be rich. No, you're not. Don't even, you know what I'm saying? Don't think that. Now, not to say some people don't find their cash cow right in the beginning, right? Because some people do. They be like, oh, this is it. It hits and, they might be there because digital products is doing good for people, right? So, but realistically, you're not about to start a business and just be like raking in the dough. So I wanted to show people that here are a group of entrepreneurs that are still pushing despite what social media makes it look like. And I wanted people to see the real. Like this is the nitty gritty. And if you want to be an entrepreneur, these are some of the things that you may encounter, but this is how you get over them. Mm-hmm. So.
And then as far as I like to ask podcasters this nowadays, so I'm starting to think more so about like what's the bigger picture for Black Fridays and things like that, because of course you know what your mission is, but as far as like where you would like to take it, where do you see it kind of going, or its potential, where do you kind of see it going from where it is now?
So yeah, when I started, like I said, it was just motivation, but I got into it and got so excited that I felt like I want to take it to panels, right? Mm-hmm. I want to take it into the world of panel discussions. It can go from panel discussions to being a traveling podcast or traveling panels, I want to take I want to fill the gap in, because I feel like there is such this iPhone, Android type of situation, like self-employed, full-time worker. You know, it's like, why is it that thing, right? But I want to take that on the road. I want entrepreneurs, I want people to hear like, hey, you know, because I don't feel like you can make it in this economy now with just one thing. Like you gotta do things. You gotta have multiple streams of income. So I want to take it on the road, you know. Ultimately, which is something that is interesting now, I laugh about because, like I said, just how God gave me the name Conversations, he also showed me that I was going to be a speaker. I laughed about that because I didn't have a speaking voice. I used to talk really, really low. And then the really, really low, I didn't want to be talking to people. So I'm like, me being a speaker, no, that one's not for me, right? Then it went from, okay, well, this is the type. Like, you can be really comfortable in speaking. Because, like, my mama would want to put me in a 3-piece business suit. And I would be like, no, I'm going to be up there in jeans and barefoot. Like, you know, I want to be comfortable, right? Yeah. But when I got into podcasting, and I used to tell people this, like, God showed me that I was supposed to be a speaker, but I don't know to what capacity because I didn't know, right? But when I sat and thought about it, podcasting is a form of speaking, right? It's a form of speaking. So I am doing exactly what I was shown. I'm just doing it in a way that I didn't naturally think, you know. So,
do you think that's one of the biggest lessons that you learned through podcasting so far since you started? The speaking piece of it?
Yes. I love talking to people. I love talking to people now. Before, I used to be like, I don't have time. But I love talking to people now because you learn so much from people. Talking to people, like, and I say this, like, because I heard someone else say this, and this is awesome woman that I met on Facebook. She came to like one of my very first speaking engagements. Her name is Bernadette. But Bernadette says that our stories make us relatable. And so once you sit down and you start talking to people, you realize how much you have in common, or it sparks something in you that you're like, oh, I might want to try that, or, you know, whatever. But talking to people is just, it opens you up to be vulnerable, to hear their story, and then you feeling comfortable enough to give yours, you know.
For sure. And I asked you what you felt like was next for the podcast, but also curious what's next for Shawn Rochelle Photography, the business, Shawn Rochelle the person. Okay. Like, what do you see in your crystal ball?
So what's next for Shawn Rochelle Photography is for me to really, really, really hone in on strictly the branding piece, right? Because I do portraits, you know, so that includes people bringing their families. Not saying I'm not going to do that, but I strictly want to market to entrepreneurs. I strictly want to market the branding piece, especially now because content is everything right now, you know. I want to be able to provide those images to entrepreneurs that they need to make their branding, like to be that missing piece, right? As far as Shawn Rochelle as a whole, so I did step out, y'all, and I did a thing. I have added a piece to my business, and that is business consulting. Nothing fancy. I want to catch entrepreneurs in the beginning, right? Because I know off my 12 years experience what I did wrong or what I felt like could have been a whole lot smoother for me, right? But I don't come from a family of entrepreneurs, so I was winging it. I don't want entrepreneurs to have to wing it. So I started Pink Crown Consulting. If y'all don't know, I love me some pink, right? It's one of my favorite colors. So Pink Crown Consulting and business and brand development. So like I said, catching entrepreneurs in the beginning.
Got you.
So that's what's next.
Love it.
Thank
Love
you.
it. So where can the people find you? What's your website, your social media handles, all that good stuff?
Okay. So you can find me online at ShawnRochelle.com. You can also find me on Instagram at Shawn Rochelle. I am Shawn Rochelle. You can find me at Shawnversations and at Pink Crown Consulting. And there's also Linktrees. You can, go to Linktree and find me at Shawn Rochelle and Shawnversations as well.
Dope. And I want to try this out and see if you might be able to help me and our people out. If people are interested in booking a shoot with you, doing business consultation, anything like that, can we get a Black Friday promo code?
Come on, yes. We can definitely talk about that. Absolutely. Okay. All right.
Cool. All right. So we're going to get y'all a promo code, Black Fridays. When you go to, by the time you hear this episode, it's going to be up and running. Can we just do Black Fridays?
We sure can.
For the code?
We sure can.
All right. So you use Black Fridays, and then do you got a percent in mind? Or
we'll figure it out. We'll have it by the time.
Perfect. Yep. Perfect. So just know y'all going to get a discount. Thank you for being generous.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
But of course, we want to make sure that we can support you in any way that we can.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah.
Most definitely. So definitely appreciate the work that you're doing. Looks like that from what I see, doing some dope work as far as the photography landscape goes. Wealth of knowledge in terms of photography, the industry, the profession in general. I learned a lot, so I'm sure that the good folks watching has learned a lot as well. So appreciate you pulling up today.
No problem. Thank you.
Absolutely. And for y'all watching, I'm tapping with y'all later. Peace.